We'll continue our discussion on greedy algorithms. So, as part of algorithm design, there are two things. One is the greedy strategy. How are we going to approach the solution? What sequence of steps we take to approach the solution? Greedy strategy or greedy approach? And formally, this is known as heuristics. Now you ask, what is the guarantee that the strategy or approach that we adopt works for all inputs? Will it work always? Then you also bring something called proof of correctness. For example, when we look at insertion sort, we had something called loop invariant. So something like that. So we need an invariant that will be preserved iteration after iteration, or some proof of correctness that will tell us that this strategy or approach we adopt to solve this problem will indeed work. And this is the reason behind this strategy due to which the algorithm or the strategy works. So strategy or approach, formally heuristics, along with proof of correctness, we call it as an algorithm. Because when we say something is an algorithm, it has to satisfy certain characteristics. So apart from well-defined input, output, and each instruction must be unambiguous and so on, there must be proof of correctness that ensures that it works always. If it is a valid input, it gives you the desired answer. If it is invalid input, it says no. Correct? So, which means when we talk about greedy algorithms, we should ensure proof of correctness is also there. For most of the algorithms, the proof of correctness is straightforward, but there are non-trivial strategies or non-trivial algorithms where proof of correctness is explicit. Fine. So if you look at sorting algorithms that we have discovered, if you look at bubble sort invariant is at the end of the first pass, max is at the end. At the end of second pass, last two elements contain maximum and second maximum. So that's the invariant we ensure iteration after iteration. So something like that, we need a proof of correctness at the end of each step. Okay. And the overall idea is this. If you look at any greedy algorithm or greedy strategy, so our objective is to achieve something called global optimum. Global optimum could be global minimum or global maximum. If it is a, say, shortest path problem in a road network, the objective is to minimize something. Okay. But in an attempt to achieve this global optimum, we move from, as part of our strategy, as part of greedy strategy, we move from one local optimum to another local optimum. So we move from one local optimum to another local optimum. So meaning you start with strategy says you have local opt 1, then you move to local opt 2, like that it happens. Finally we reach our global optimum. Now our strategy says this is our local optimum, this is our next local optimum, and so on. What is the guarantee that if I follow this sequence and I will indeed reach the global optimum? That is given by the proof of correctness. For most of them, if you just look at the strategy, one can conclude, yes, the strategy will indeed work for all inputs. For some of them, it is non-trivial. That's where the proof of correctness will help us in showing that you follow this, you will indeed reach the global optimum. I'll give you two examples, something from your context so that you can appreciate. Let's look at the shortest path or minimum cost path problem, minimum cost tour. So min cost path between AB. Let's assume this is our A and destination is here. Let's assume from A you go to A1, then you go to A2, and you go to A3, then A4, and finally you reach this. So something like this is our campus and this is Chennai Central Station. These are all the intermediate stations or intermediate bus stops and through which you reach this. Now greedy strategy will tell you from A to A1 you take shortest path, and from A1 to A2 you take shortest path, from A2 to A3 shortest path. If each of this is shortest, then you will see that this is also shortest. Suppose between A2 and A3 is not, you have a path which is shorter than this, so you can always replace that with a path which is shorter than that. Correct? So which means if you have taken a shortest path from A to B, that means A to A1 is shortest, A1 to A2 is shortest, A2 to A3 is shortest, and so on. This you can bring it as an algorithm itself. So my greedy strategy says from A you have to go to A1 first and choose, this is our local opt 1. Choose the shortest path between A and A1. Then from A1 to A2 choose shortest path. This is our local opt 2. So like that if you do it, you will see that the path that you have taken from A to B via these intermediate stations A1, A2, A3, A4 is indeed the shortest path. So that's precisely what I was trying to tell you as part of moving from one local optimum to another local optimum. Look at a problem from the maximization perspective. Suppose your objective is to maximize, study well and maximize your CGPA. So which means you have enrolled for semester 1 and you will work hard and ensure the semester 1 GPA is maximized. The percentage of marks you score for S1 is maximized. Then you work hard and then ensure it is maximized for semester 2. For semester 2 again max GPA. If for every semester, if the GPA is maximized, finally at the end of semester 8, you see that your CGPA is maximized. Correct? So it's a cumulative effort. Correct? That's what this also says, right? So you move from one local optimum to another local optimum. At the end of semester 1, you ensure for that semester you perform well and that GPA is maximized. Then again semester 2, you work hard and ensure that GPA is maximized. So like that in each semester, if you work hard and maximize your GPA, then there will be a cumulative effect. That cumulative effect is your CGPA is maximized. Fine. So there are other problems which we come across in computer science. Now I have given some toy examples so that you can appreciate when I say when we move from local optimum to another local optimum, what does that imply? Correct? Now we shall look at a specific case studies and see how things work in the context of greedy algorithms. Okay. So our focus will be on identifying greedy strategy and then how do we get how do we move from one local optimum to another local optimum, and in the process what is a guarantee that when we reach the end of the algorithm we indeed get optimum, minimum or maximum. Fine. So we shall look at couple of case studies and experiment this approach. And most importantly, when we say greedy algorithms, and if we are designing greedy algorithms for optimization problems, then one has to be careful about the greedy choice. So when I say local optimum, we say greedy strategy or greedy choice. Okay. So I should not run something like suppose it is a subset problem or something like this. So I should not say try all paths between A and A1 and pick minimum. Okay, so something like this one should not do as part of greedy. The reason is this is brute force. There is a paradigm called brute force that says you try all possibilities. This is brute force approach. So something like this we don't apply when we do greedy. So I am at A. Just by looking at the configuration at A, I have to decide how to pick A1 or what path I should choose to reach A1. But we avoid doing tasks like this, trying all subsets, trying all paths between A and A1 and then pick min out of that. So this is brute force approach. Brute force approach we don't apply as part of greedy strategy. Okay. From the complexity perspective also this would be costly. The complexity part we will see later. But trying all possibilities will not come under a greedy strategy. That will come under the paradigm called brute force approach. So keep this in mind when we design algorithms.